She would have loved to have been here. She was a sponsor, and unfortunately she can't be here this morning, and then we're waiting on a couple of other people. So we'll get started with Veronica.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here this morning. I am Veronica Royale Garcia, and this is my son Isaac, and our family lost our precious Lily on October 20th, 2015. She had just finished her second day of pre-K and was 4 years old at the time when she was tragically taken from us by a violent repeat offender in a road rage incident on I-40. It's important to understand that when you ever choose violence, your life can change in a split second, and what you knew before is no longer. Our goal here with this campaign is to not only keep Lily's memory alive, but also to bring a full awareness of the effects of road rage and the devastation that it leaves, the devastation it brings to the families that are left behind. Too many families have lost their lives or lost loved ones and now are trying to navigate a new world. We have to remember there's no guidebook on how to live on without your loved one. Road rage is completely avoidable and it should never happen. All it takes is for each one of us to be kind and to have patience and to just breathe when you're behind the road. Thank you.
So I'm going to ask the Sheriff Allen to come up quickly. We actually were approached by Veronica, and as you all know, this campaign may be very familiar to all of you. She started it years ago when she lost her daughter, and then she actually reached out to us, Sheriff, and she reached out to us and asked us if we can organize this. And I just want to say I appreciate the Sheriff partnering, but I also want to appreciate, because this takes a village. You don't just do this and you find the money to launch a campaign like this without lots of other folks. So it takes a village. So everyone here who has contributed, I'm just going to say real quick, the mayor's office, everybody jumped on right away. So unfortunately he couldn't be here, but we have Ms. Martinez who will speak. And then we have APD, Chief Medina, Councillor Lewis, Councillor Bassan, Councillor Jones, Councillor Grout, Councillor Sanchez, Councillor Feeblecorn, the county manager, the sheriff's department, Commissioner Quesada, and obviously APD Deputy Chief Brown, who's here with us today, obviously part of the APD. But I want to thank everyone who contributed to this very important campaign. In light of what's going on in our community, we really need to make awareness and education about road rage, about speeding, lots of things that are attributed to the loss of life and tragedy for families all the way around. I also want to thank Sunny 505, Gabe, Jerry, and Joni for putting together all the marketing materials. And then I want to thank Council Services, Rachel Hernandez and Julian Moya for helping to get all this organized. So like I said, it takes a village, and we're just really happy that everybody came together to get this important message across. So Sheriff Allen.
Thank you. We're all here together, like the Councilwoman said, it takes a village. Thank you for everybody who's joining in this awareness, and most importantly, not to forget victims' families. That's very important as victims around this state and around the country begin to lose their voice. We never want that. And we want to make sure that there's awareness. And one of the reasons that the Sheriff's Office is behind it is because we're going to make sure that we enforce it. Road rage be the last resort, or if that, any crime against people, property, or any violent crime. A lot of people don't realize the hurt that you cause, just not to the family, but the whole community. We're asking for you to relax. We're asking you to breathe. We're asking you to think, to look at an alternative before resorting to violence. And if you do not, we will enforce it and we will come arrest you. That's just the bottom line. But again, this is an awareness. Starting tomorrow, the Sheriff's Office will have a white ribbon on their antennas or any part of their units to show awareness, just not for Lily, but all the victims' families that have lost their life to road rage or any violent crime. And also to reiterate that we will not accept or deal with violent repeat offenders. We will go after them. That's our dedication with the Sheriff's Office and law enforcement as a whole, and we're very glad to be a part of this. Thank you very much.
And I know both the sheriff and APD are planning a tact plan also to enforce speeding and aggressive behavior. So next we have Veronica Martinez with the mayor's office.
Hello, my name is Veronica Martinez, and I am the new Chief of Staff for Mayor Keller's office. I want to thank Councilor Pena and the Garcia family for reestablishing the campaign Just Breathe. As a mother and a member of this community, this hits home. In the past year, APD has had approximately 460 calls for service, and approximately about 156 of those calls were reported where a road rage incident was tied to those. We have to be a little bit better. We need to step back. We need to breathe. Confrontational and aggressive driving endangers the lives of all on the roadway. This includes drivers, passengers, pedestrians, and cyclists. It is important that the community is united and considerate of one another on the roadways. This campaign will stress the education and conflict resolution needed to avoid road rage incidents. I encourage everyone to take a pledge to be patient, considerate, and understanding when operating a vehicle. The violence on the roadways comes with the consequences from actions that could have been avoided. Although road rage incidents may not always be deadly, these types of incidents can take a toll on the community and individuals on the roadways, causing traffic congestion and traffic crashes. A few tips on how to handle rising incidents. Stay calm, just breathe. Don't return or engage on any gestures. Avoid eye contact. Do not taunt the other person. Disengage by rerouting, changing lanes, slow down, and report all incidences to police. The Albuquerque Police Department has been and will continue to arrest individuals who are violent and endangering others on the roadways of Albuquerque. You'll hear more later from APD Deputy Chief Brown, who will explain further operations on what they're working on to address this road rage incidents. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. Next, we have a representative from the Bernalillo County Manager's Office. I don't think they're here. So then we will go on to Commissioner Stephen Michael Quesada.
Good morning. Thank you for letting us be a part of this. You know, just my drive on the way over here, I took time to look at, you know, how many different types of diverse drivers are on the road and how many different age groups of people that are on the road. And I understand that sometimes, you know, people are having a bad day or they're dealing with a family matter. And so I think the Just Breathe statement means a lot when you have to look at what other people are going through. And if something happens on the road, you have to avoid it. You have to just, in your mind, breathe a little bit and thinking, maybe they're having worse day than I am today. And what happens is, when you engage with that, and I think that was well stated earlier, when you engage in somebody else having a bad day, bad things happen. And so this campaign about take a moment, think about the other person, think about what you would do in a situation, and just breathe. I think it says it all right then and there. And I want to end with what I think what a gun is. A gun is for self-protection. A gun is not to make your point. A gun is not to push your agenda. And a gun is not for you to commit aggression towards somebody else. It's just for self-protection. You only use it when you are in danger of a life-threatening situation. I think we need to look at that as well. We need to talk about not only what our responsibility is as drivers and our empathy as drivers, but also our responsibility as a gun owner. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce Deputy Chief Josh Brown.
Thank you, ma'am. You know, I'm going to hit on a point that Commissioner Quesada touched on with, you know, the guns and road rage. The Albuquerque Police Department has investigated 6 homicides this year due to road rage. And this is where, you know, we ask people to be responsible. We ask them to use common sense. So I'm the father of a 16-year-old brand new driver. And, you know, as everyone, as you drive around Albuquerque and you honk at somebody or whatever, and one day she asked me, Dad, when you honked at that person, is that going to affect the rest of your day? I was like, no. She goes, then what point does that make to get angry or to even get irritated at this and let it affect you for the rest of your afternoon? And, you know, I'm sitting there thinking my 16-year-old daughter made more of a point than most adults can. So I'm asking people to grow up, to realize that their consequences have actions. I mean, APD has focused this year heavily on traffic enforcement. We're almost double what we had last year in tickets alone for the Albuquerque Police Department. We got about 64,000 traffic citations. Our motor guys are at where they were last year for all of last year. They're already past that. Through their aggressive driving campaigns, they've hit drag racing, you name it. If it's out there, they're writing tickets for it. You know, we're also doing things like citing spectators. If somebody's out watching drag racing, things like that, they're going to get a ticket. If you're out there pointing guns at people, we're going to take you to jail. So we're going to have operations throughout the rest of the year. We're going to rotate those in and out with the warrant backlog, with our central operations, anti-crime operations, and our aggressive driving. But I'd also like to remind folks that there is a link that they can forward portals to or photographs to. It's through the Axon portal through KRQE on their website, or they can go to the Albuquerque website. And through this, it's the Albuquerque pdnm.evidence.com/Axon Citizen. It's on the website. So please give that information out. If you have that information, if you've been involved in a road rage, or you have information on somebody who's endangering the lives of others, get that to us. We'll investigate it. Thank you.
Thank you. I am heartbroken that we have to even be talking about this. Our parents taught us well. They taught us to think before we act. They taught us, if you can't say anything, don't say anything at all. They taught us to be kind. They told us to walk away when somebody was when you felt like you were being picked on. These are all common sense things, but our world is so upside down right now that common sense isn't commonplace these days. It makes me angry that we have to have this campaign, but I think it's very necessary. So this is our reminder to everyone on behalf of all the Bernalillo County mothers: be kind, slow down, just breathe, think before you act, and let's all get home safely. I'd also like to give a big hug to all those moms and dads and grandparents and sisters and brothers that have lost loved ones senselessly. It's all avoidable, just like you mentioned, and we've got to do better. So I'm really proud to be part of this campaign, and I hope that folks will really stop and think before they act and make sure that we're being kind to each other and just breathing. Councilor Pena, you want me to, let's see, who is our next one? We have a closing remarks. Okay.
Thank you. We're just going to show the video, and you want to just talk about that, and then you can wrap it up. Sure.
So Councilwoman Carissa Pena and her team were able to get us in touch with Sunny 505, who have done amazing advertisement for us. And so we were able to do a commercial. It's super quick. It gets to the point. It does include, of course, my Lily, but it also includes 2 other individuals that have lost their loved ones to road rage. It'll be just a minute, folks, sorry. We also were able to get yard signs where we'll be able to give out today. If anybody else needs to pick some up, they will be at the city councilor's office on the 9th floor, I believe, and then also at the Bernalillo.
Escalate quickly, but it doesn't have to. Just read and remember, we are all trying to get home safely. Choose kindness and patience on the road. Together, we can end road rage.
So that should be starting pretty soon on the local channel stations. Again, we have yard signs here. If you folks want to pick some up, again, you can pick some up at the Albuquerque City Councilor's office on the 9th floor, and then also at the Sheriff's Department on the 9th floor, I believe. We also have bumper stickers to be given here if you guys would like some. I just want to thank Clarissa Pena and Sheriff John Allen from the bottom of my heart for their willingness to do this campaign again. I mean, it's been 8 years since we were here at this exact spot doing a vigil for Lily. 8 years has been a long time without her. 8 years has been a long time fighting for change. And again, I just want to thank Clarissa, wherever she went, there she is. Sheriff John Allen, thank you again. Thank you for APD, for also the help, the city councilors, Commissioner Quesada. Again, without you folks, this wouldn't have happened. I just hope that everybody, you know, when you are angry behind the wheel, that you just think of my Lily and just think that, you know, your life can be taken or your life can be changed in a matter of minutes over something minute. There's too much violence going on in this city, in this state. Too many people are losing their lives over senseless acts. Just breathe when you're behind that wheel. Just relax. And please never forget my Lily. Thank you.
It works.
Appreciate it. Not everybody that's a leader.
should prioritize. I disagree that we are, I mean, people are telling us we should enforce laws in Albuquerque, and we're not doing that half the time. So, like, we should prioritize this, and that doesn't mean that they're going to listen. You know, and so to me, I agree with all of the other changes that were made, but I don't want to say should consider prioritizing. That takes the meat out of the entire point of that entire section. And as the seconder to that, I will continue to say yes to the second as long as it's not with that one last thing. So if you want to add that one last thing, then can you please find a different
Mr. President. Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
so can we then say, and New Mexico Senate, can you do kind of comma or say prioritizing reform? Like, I just don't want to, I really don't want to say the word should. So with an emphasis or I just don't know what the word would be. I don't know if Mr. Padilla could help with some language on that.
Councilor Lewis, what's your?
We want them to.
Well, I mean, I guess since this is, Mr. President, since it's a dispute between Councilor Benton and Councilor Pena, I'll agree with Councilor Benton. If we could make it, it would just honor what Councilor Benton had suggested. I think we've gone pretty far to really accommodate all the nuances there and, you know, just about everything that we consider.
Mr. President, Councilor Pena, I think one way that we could maybe accommodate what you're trying to achieve is to say the Senate is encouraged to prioritize. I don't know if that gets quite to what you're going for.
Yes.
President, I won't speak for the rest of the sponsors, but I'm fine with that.
It's your amendment, so it doesn't matter what they want till we get that done. Councilor Bassan, you want to weigh in here?
I will second the encouraged to prioritize and all of the previous other removals and everything discussed.
Mr. Padilla, aren't you glad you jumped in now? All right, so staff have enough of what we need to craft the amendment as it is fluidly explained. Great. We have an amendment on the floor. Any other discussion? Whatever it says.